from the third dimension.
This is 3D or 2D.com's Duh 3D Show.
Put on your 3D glasses now.
If you're wondering what the 3D stand for, they are discussion, debate, and the news. We hope that you enjoy the show. Get it? The show?
Duh.
Hello. Welcome to episode 87 of the 3D Show. We got quite a few topics to talk about. I'm Adolph. I have with me Jake.
Howdy, folks.
And Krista.
Hello.
It's been a little while since we talked online, Krista. We missed you.
Yeah.
Been difficult times. So, I'll throw it over to you, Jake. What do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about what affects us pretty much here sitting at home. Fandango is buying Walmart's streaming service, VUDU.
Which is completely out of the blue. I never heard about this until it happened.
Nobody did. I don't think people were paying attention to it with everything going on. But it affects 3D fans because they were pretty much the last two places you could get current newer movies in 3D to rent or to purchase streaming copies of. And Roku is cracking down on their 3D stuff, saying it's violating their terms of service. Some of them might be. Not all of them are. So it's getting to be slim pickings for online 3D content. Now, VUDU and Fandango now had different titles. So what I'm hoping happens is they merge them all together to make it more convenient. And hopefully they just decide to not jettison 3D altogether.
And VUDU was part of Movies Anywhere. So if you bought Blu-rays, they would have copies of, you could pick it from VUDU or iTunes or wherever. And VUDU was one of the places you could pick from. And they've said a statement that if you have Movies Anywhere, it doesn't affect anything. So that's not going to change. So that's good news there.
Yeah, that's very good news.
I have quite a big selection of digital copies of movies. So
I'm just worried about the 3D because 3D Crave and MGO were the only places I could really get 3D content to play on my streaming content. Oh yeah, that and Shudder. And Shudder had to walk me through it to get it to tweak my system to where it would work.
It was always weird that Walmart had a streaming service. Like Target doesn't have one.
Yeah, but hey, AMC Theaters has a streaming service too.
Oh yeah, which actually leads us to a nice segue to AMC Theaters. Jake, did you hear about this story?
Which one? They seem to have a multitude of fires going on at once.
All right, go ahead and talk about the one you think about first.
That rumor is that Amazon is eyeing to purchase them.
Okay, I did not hear about that. When would that happen?
Point at this. Oh, nothing's happened at this point. Oh, there's also wild rumors that Apple's thinking about buying Disney. Apple's got the money, and Disney is hemorrhaging money left and right because of the lockdown worldwide.
Now, the story that I was talking about was that they won't reopen until there's a new studio product. So they're not going to open up for any small movies, or I think some theaters have said they might open up for, I think it was like Cinemark or something for old movies. But like AMC said basically no, they don't want anything unless it's a big movie,
Okay. And the state of Georgia's opened up, but most of the theaters opted to not open. In fact, I think the Tiki Mission Drive-In is the last theater, actually it's a drive-in, that's sending numbers in to report the weekly box office, which has been about $36,000 a week.
which is nothing for box office.
I know. I would take it, but
I mean, considering that most times 36 million is considered low, for an entire week. So, Krista, what are your thoughts on any of the stories?
I mean, like, we're just feeling the effects of, like, nothing's open. And so, like, we're really probably not going to get any theatrical releases for, like, a year.
Warner Brothers is still sticking with their summer releases dates for Tenet. And there's another movie, but Tenet's the big one.
I mean, it's not just like there's a lot of people who are like, oh, we'll do things in the summer. And I just can't possibly believe that any of the things that people are saying are going to happen in the summer are actually going to happen.
Oh, they might. And then we're going to have a wave hit and deaths that are going to make what's going on now look like nothing, which is exactly what happened the 1918 pandemic.
Just to give context to any listeners, we are recording on April 25th, 2020 at 1:36 p.m. Central Standard Time. Just giving that caveat because things will probably change right after we record this podcast, as it always does.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't feel comfortable going to the theaters, even if they have some kind of 5-seat rule or something. I just don't think it's worth it.
Oh, I would go to the drive-ins, but our state even closed those.
Yeah, I don't even know where any drive-ins are around here. Like, I feel like there's not a lot of them around anymore.
Most of them are. Most drive-ins went out of business 20 years ago. There's just a few. Because heck, even in the last 20 years, most of the drive-ins around me have gone out of business.
Yeah,
the last time I remember going to a drive-in was when Shark Boy and Lava Girl came out.
That was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So there is some drive-ins near Austin, and I've been to them. Most of the drive-ins right now, they would feature older movies, like from 10, 15, 20 years ago. And so they won't really be new releases. Some do have new ones, but it's mostly old stuff. So, and of course, I'm not sure, but I don't think that drive-ins with a windshield, you can watch 3D movies because that windshield will get in your way and just be out,
Yeah, I've never heard of a drive-in even attempting a 3D presentation. I'm sure if anybody from the 3D archive is listening, they'll know. So feel free to add at us and correct me, because that would excite me to no end.
And Warner Brothers has said that they're reconsidering their theatrical experience, which leads us to a new topic, that Scoob, the Scooby-Doo animated movie, is no longer going out in theaters. It's going to go direct to VOD because Trolls World Tour was a success. So kind of a lot of topics going there at the same time. So, all right. First of all, WB reconsidering movies going out to the theater. What are your thoughts on that, Krista?
I mean, I feel like this was kind of the path we were on anyway, and so this pandemic has just accelerated trends that were already happening.
Yeah, and I think it's going to really hurt 3D.
Yeah, because
I think they had already canceled the conversion on Scoob.
Yeah, I agree.
This mess just exacerbated it. I would be surprised if there's even a release on home video someplace in the world of it in 3D. I would love for there to be, but something tells me it didn't get converted.
Did Trolls World Tour even get any 3D releases?
No, not yet.
Just other than a trailer, no.
There is a 3D Blu-ray coming out eventually, but the home release did not have it. I did check to see, because I did review Trolls World Tour, Krista and Jake, and I gave it a good 5 out of 10. So no.
It's rumored that the Trolls 3D release is going to be, several people have been asking about this. They heard rumors that the first Trolls movie was going to be packaged with it in a deluxe edition, and they were both going to be 3D.
Yeah, I think that's what I got because right after I put up the review on Twitter, our good friends 3D Movie List sent us a link to Zavi, and Zavi zavvi.com.au. They do have like a dual pack of Trolls World Tour and the original Trolls, and it's $32 Australian. I don't know, but yeah, and that might be something you need to import, and it might be something that if you don't buy it as soon as it's possible, you may never get it again. That's going to be a collector's item, I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's kind of like the American copy of Dead at Dawn in 3D.
So Trolls did do well financially. The direct-to-home release was considered a success. I think it was like 40 million or something. And I mean, I don't think anyone loved that movie, but it's something you can watch with your kids at home.
I feel like that's like primarily like parents just being so annoyed at their kids. They're just like, shut up, just watch this movie for an hour so I could get the
believe Universal didn't give a buy option for it, though.
Yeah, kind of weird. Like, you have the option with Scoob, that you buy it for 25 or you rent it for 20. I was like, well, might as well just throw in the extra $5 and just own it for.
Exactly. I mean, that makes sense with Scoob. Scooby-Doo was a TV show. It was discovered on TV. Its audience has always been TV, and the theatrical movies did so much better on TV than they did in the theaters. I mean, that's where the Scooby-Doo audience is.
Oh, let me get some update here. Warner Brothers said they're excited about releasing Tenet in the summer and remain supportive of theatrical experience in the future, including Wonder Woman 1984. So, I think they may have just not wanted to, publicly say that they're reconsidering movies in theater, but I think that's the reality. That Krista is right, that basically this was the future because eventually people are just not going to want to go to the theaters anymore. And that is happening now. It's not a future thing anymore. It's a present thing,
Exactly. I mean, a lot of people I knew, they were only going to the movies to see certain blockbusters anyway. Everything else, they would just wait. See it on streaming anyway because they didn't feel like paying $20 for a soda and a popcorn on top of a $10 movie ticket.
Yeah, going to the movies is expensive.
Yeah, it's cheaper to do drugs than it is to go to the movies.
Well, so it's an interesting thing, though. Will you guys miss the theatrical experience? Have YouTube missed the theatrical experience since we haven't seen a movie in theaters since Onward?
Oh, yeah. I've been missing a good theatrical experience for decades because movie theaters have been shoddy for a long time.
I agree to an extent.
I miss that.
A good theatrical experience is what you are missing, and I think that's a fair criticism because I feel like it used to be, you got a consistentness to it, and I feel like that consistency didn't happen. And in theory, this would be a great opportunity for any cinema owners, movie theater chains to upgrade and clean up their equipment because there's a lot of times when you may go to a movie theater and things are not aligned correctly, like the 3D, the bulb is off or whatever, and it just doesn't make a good experience.
I mean, it used to be hard to project. You had to project a movie, you had to thread it, you had to lubricate it, and you had to do it just right, or you would scratch the print, or you wouldn't have the audio, or the audio would go out of sync, or it wouldn't be in Dolby. it would only be in mono. I mean, today you just have to hit a few buttons and adjust a few things. And heck, I think it's odd, and they're autofocus. You don't have to focus the lens yourself.
Like, I don't even think there's a projectionist in that room for like most of the time.
Oh yeah. Oh, they don't even have. Most of the theaters around me, they have fewer employees than they have screens.
If you did have a problem, you had to look for someone to find it.
More than once I went to a theater. The person who sold me the ticket also sold me my drink and popcorn and projected the movie.
Oh yeah, there's like 2 people in the AMC I went to. Like,
I mean, you can't keep the place clean. You can't. What do you do if there's a problem? And trust me, there's usually. I worked at the movie theaters. We couldn't go a week without a fight. Somebody throwing up in an auditorium.
I remember I had a problem with the IMAX screen, and you used to go to an IMAX screen, and it was perfect. It was the best of the best. And I went to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp there, and then the first 10 minutes weren't in 3D, and it was paid for in 3D, and then the manager came out and was like, hey, we're having problems. We'll just give you a ticket, and we'll watch it in 2D. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then 5 minutes later, oh, the 3D started working. Well, you get to keep the tickets anyway. I mean, it was cool that I got free tickets and they fixed the problem, but it was just like, come on. This is not, this is IMAX 3D. It was shot on IMAX. It's not that hard. So
yeah,
having a fantastic, theatrical experience is a rare thing now.
Mm-hmm. And they're not even really in the movie business anymore. They're in the concession business. They're more concerned about selling you popcorn and a drink than showing you a movie properly projected.
I mean, honest to God, some of the best quote unquote theater experiences I've had were like the student run like movie nights that were like at my college.
Yeah, I mean, and my TV and system for my space gives a better presentation. Of course, my TV's getting up there in age, and it's only 1080. So one of these days I've got to upgrade, but I'm waiting till there's really a viable 3D option. Basically, it's probably going to go projector.
So Scoob is going to come out on May 15th, and it will be available to buy for 20 to rent for 20 or buy for 25. We mentioned that before, but it doesn't look like it's going to be on HBO Max, which is going to come out at the end of May, which is kind of dumb. I would think that they might as well just, it's going to be a couple weeks, have a, big theatrical release right off the bat, HBO Max. I kind of feel like HBO Max is getting weird because it should have released already. Now was a great time to have it out, and they're just not able to do it,
Yeah, well, this is Warner Brothers. This is why they're slowly sliding into being a minor studio like Lionsgate or MGM.
They definitely have a lot of content on HBO Max. I am interested in HBO Max, but I mean, someone should have said, let's get this up as soon as possible. We're going to get a lot more people streaming right now during the pandemic than, a month later at the end of May. But who knows? So let's keep going here. Were you guys interested in Scoob? I thought it looked really cute and really good. So I don't know.
I thought it would have looked good in 3D, but
yeah, I probably would have. Yeah, the 3D trailer looked great. But I'm the attitude. I don't want to pay $20 for it. And I can wait since it's debuting on streaming. I'll just wait until it's on HBO Max if I decide I can afford it. I mean, there's the streaming wars are really heating up.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because how long of a time window will Trolls World Tour get for $20? Because I think people are going to be interested for a little while, but I don't imagine that being something that 3 months from now it's not going to be available somewhere else to rent for free, or not free, but, just like Netflix or something.
We'll
So
see.
Netflix is kind of getting to be slim pickings. Like, I'm getting frustrated with Netflix because, like, so many things like I want to watch aren't on Netflix.
Which is the streaming wars that Jake mentioned. Everything is getting taken off of Netflix so that way they can do their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cable bundle is we're getting the cable bundle back. It's just streaming channels.
Okay, so let's keep going here. Let's talk about Venom 2. It actually got a release date and it got a new title. Jake, do you want to mention the title?
Yeah, Let There Be Carnage. Oh my god. At first I thought it was an Onion article.
No 2 in the title, which is like, you might as well. If you're going to go all that way, might as well just put Venom 2 or not even have a subtitle. Yeah, Let There Be Carnage sounds terrible.
You notice they're not calling movies 2, 3, because a lot of people don't want to start a series in the middle. Yeah, this is why we have to tell people to not drink bleach.
So Venom 2, Jake, this is now going to come out in June 25th, 2021. It was an October 2020 release. I hated Venom, so you're going to get that review.
Yeah, I'll mark my my calendar and I'll put it in pencil.
So yeah, that title alone, obviously, they make Carnage is a big deal for Venom, so it makes sense to have him as a villain. They teased him in the post-credit scene, so it makes sense. But it's hard because I feel like part of the reason I didn't like Venom was because the other villains were also Venom-like creatures, and Carnage is another version of Venom, but much darker. I mean, it's red, but it's a more evil version of Venom. So it's just like I don't care. I hate the whole trope of the good guy versus the bad guy, and the good guy and the bad guy have the same powers.
Venom is just part of that old '90s speculator boom. It's one of those things. Nobody actually read these comics. They just bought them as investments.
Krista, have you seen Venom or know anything about Carnage?
I don't know anything about Carnage, no.
But hey, I thought Venom was goofy fun. Was it good? Of course not. But God, it was goofy fun. And it's worth it alone just for Tom Hardy in the restaurant in 3D. That was awesome.
All right, so yeah, me and Jake really disagree here. I gave it a 4 out of 10. I think Jake, you gave it a 7, right?
Yeah, I gave it a 7.
So yeah, there's a big disparity between you either really liking it or really not liking it. And I think I'm very much not liking it. James was a big fan of it too, but I could not stand this movie. So I'm not excited for it. We haven't seen a trailer for it either. So, it's kind of okay. I guess it's delayed. Sure. Now, going on to other Spider-Man kind of related news, we got Spider-Man Home 3, which is just a tentative title. We don't have a real title yet for Spider-Man 3, do we, Jake, or don't?
No, they just said Home's going to be in it. So there could be lots. It could be Home for the holiday. It could be Home at Last. It could be Home Alone. Yeah, Aunt May leaves Peter at the house, and the Sinister Six try to break in.
Anyway, so this is going to get delayed from to November 2021, which is kind of sad that it's not going to be a summer 2021 movie, but understandable.
Yeah, and I hope you all realize most of these dates are probably going to change as well.
Which is going to be the next thing we talk about, because Thor: Love and Thunder is now a February 2022 movie, and it was from February 22nd to February 11th, and Doctor Strange 2 Madness something or other is now a March 2022 movie, where it was November 21. So yeah, a lot of changes there. And then Uncharted
got definite 100% confirmation that Sam Raimi is directing the next Doctor Strange movie.
So those movies got delayed not that long ago. Now they're getting all delayed and dates all weird. I'm definitely happy about Doctor Strange too, but it just feels like it's forever from now we're going to see another Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's going to be. Well, the thing is, even as well as Trolls did in streaming, it's not enough to get the big studios to put their blockbuster movies because they still make more money in the theatrical experience than they do in the VOD and streaming most of the time. So it's going to be interesting to see how long what we're in goes, what they do. And some of these movies they're announcing dates for, their productions have shut down. So, I mean, they're not in the can yet. So,
I
they have.
It is like just like delaying it without any knowledge or certainty. They're like, obviously, it's not going to meet the timeline we originally had. So,
Yeah, you've seen the newest trailer for Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy. It has a December date on it, and with a fingers crossed emoji.
I feel like that's how we all feel right now.
Exactly.
And like 3 weeks ago, Krista, all these movies got dates already, so they've been changed left and right, So it's really hard to catch up and say, okay, where's this movie coming out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's still a few things that haven't been canceled yet, like the Oscars. Yeah. Can you see the? Yeah, if they have the Oscars this year
for like 5 movies that came out in 2020.
Yeah, it's going to be Birds of Prey, Bloodshot, and Onward.
Yeah, that's gonna be weird if they would consider Trolls, a 2020 movie or not. World Tour. I don't know.
Oh yeah, let me think. And Soul, I think, got moved to November finally. But I'm like going, really? You think you're going to be open in November? And I imagine that's going to change next week.
Yeah. So Uncharted now is coming from being delayed to being pushed up. So it's July 16th, 2021. Uncharted is a weird movie that we haven't seen anything about this movie.
I think it's going to be like Gambit.
Well, they pushed it up. They had it before to be later. Now they're like, oh.
No, and as far as I know, they don't have it in the can.
So it doesn't make any sense how this movie.
I figured we're about to enter an age of an animated movie renaissance. Because nobody has to be in the room with you to make an animated movie. Everybody can be in separate rooms around the globe.
That's true.
So, Uncharted was supposed to be like a Christmas release for 2020, and then it got pushed to October 21, and then it got pushed up to July 21. So it's just all over the place there.
Yeah. It's Sony's gonna Sony. What can you do?
And Sony also revealed that Spider-Verse 2 is coming out October 7th, 2022. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that I'll believe because it's an animated movie. Oh, speaking of animated movies, Lego just made a deal with Universal.
How long is this deal for, Jake?
Is it 5 movies, I believe?
Yeah, it's a 5-year deal. And now the thing about this is really weird. I kind of thought the Lego movies ran its course. Am I wrong?
Well, with Warner Brothers, they most certainly have. I mean, they should have had a big hit with even though it wasn't that great of a movie, the Ninjago, but they just pumped them out so fast between Lord Miller's first one and the second one they produced that they diminish the brand at Warner. Universal, it makes sense. I mean, they've got theme parks. They could tie in with Lego on a whole bunch of different things. The synergy, plus they do have a top-notch animation studios with now. Warner Brothers isn't the only game in town outside of Disney with great animation or the potential. And a lot of the animators work on projects for Warner Brothers and Universal anyway, so it won't be that big of a transition for them. But
the thing about the Lego movies is it's not really you don't have to stick to the same characters. It's more of the setting and the medium than what story. So you could easily tell different stories.
And they're doing Lego videos for TV for 2 decades now, and they've been very successful. And I just think Lego wants to go somewhere where they're a big fish, because Warner Brothers just sort of really blew the opportunity they had with how successful the first Lego movie was, and they didn't capitalize on it. Not really. While Universal, when they caught lightning in a bottle with Despicable Me, say what you will about how crappy the sequels are, but they struck gold and they made a fortune.
So yeah, Lego Movie 1 was a big hit. Everyone liked it. Then Jago came out and no one cared. And then Batman came out and people really liked that one.
Didn't do as good as anybody thought it would do, which is a shame because it was funny.
And you really liked Lego Movie 2, right?
Yeah. Wasn't as good as the first one, but damn, it was still really good.
But that one kind of flopped last year.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of taking so long to come out and then all these other Lego movies between.
So, Krista, how would you make a new Lego movie be different from the other Lego movies?
Well, so, the whole premise of the original Lego movie was it's, just the world of this one Lego set in this one dude's basement. But there are other Lego sets in the world, so, I don't know, you could easily have a scenario in which, we get all this stuff from this old Lego set, and the two Lego sets have completely different cultures and histories, and they combine.
I think you have a good idea there. So, yeah, I think that's a way of doing it because, Warner Brothers kind of, like Jake said, they missed opportunity. So, yep. So what's the next 3D movie, Jake? Do you know? I don't even know what the next one is. Was it Wonder Woman?
I don't either. There's been some rumors that the Harry Potter series has been converted and was going to screen in China, but they shut stuff down again because the second wave of this pandemic is coming. Either that or the first wave is still, who knows?
Okay, well, I guess that's basically it for this episode of the 3D Show. See you next time. Be safe and listen to the scientists and doctors. Do not listen to politicians.
Don't drink bleach.
Don't inject bleach either. We are not being sarcastic here.
Wash your hands.
Be careful. Be safe.
Don't touch your face.
Don't touch your face. All right. Bye.
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 Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Kano3D and Mr. Bengo 5 for your financial support on patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dortwo@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.